Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English podcast. My name is Jack.
My name is Sarah. Today, we have a fun and exciting lesson for you at the elementary level.
That's right. Today, we are going to visit a farm.
Yes, it's going to be fun. We will see a lot of animals. And not only that, but we will also learn many interesting words and phrases in English.
But before we start, let's look at some vocabulary.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, let's start with our first word. The word is country.
Country, like the United States, Mexico, or China?
Well, yes, countries are places like that. But today, we are talking about the country, not the country.
Oh, so we are going out to the country, which is different from going out of the country.
Exactly. The country or the countryside is a place that is very different from a city.
Right. It is usually quiet and peaceful. There are not many houses or people. There's lots of grass and nature.
Yes, it is the opposite of a busy city. You will also find many animals there. Usually, farms are in the countryside.
I love the countryside because it is so quiet and calm. But let's listen to today's dialogue first. Then we will talk more about words and phrases.
Dialogue. Isn't this great? I've always wanted to own a farm, live in the country, and grow my own food.
This place is very beautiful. But I have to confess, I don't know the first thing about farming.
That's fine. Don't worry.
What was that noise?
Relax. It's just a goat.
And that noise?
It's just the cows grazing over there. We can milk them later.
What was that, honey?
Seriously, it's just a sheep. Relax.
Relax. That noise was just the horses and donkeys in the stable.
You know what? I don't think I can handle life out here in the countryside. I'm going back to the city. All right, we're back. As we can see, some people cannot live in the countryside.
That's right. Some people get very upset when they are away from the city.
In fact, there was a TV show in America about city people trying to live in the countryside.
And some of them can do it.
Yes, that's right.
Before we continue, let's look at 4 key words in today's language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
The first word is the name of an animal. Everyone knows cows, but have you heard of a goat?
A goat.
Yes, a goat. All right, so a goat is a strange-looking animal. It is usually thin and not very big.
People often ask, what do we get from a goat? Well, you can drink goat's milk. Many people also like to eat goat cheese. Goat cheese is made from goat's milk.
Okay, so now we understand what a goat is. We also heard the sound that a goat makes, so it's very easy to recognize one.
Goats are very common animals on farms, just like sheep, horses, and cows.
That's right. When goats live in the wild, they usually like rocky places, such as mountains.
Exactly. That's why people say goats are very good climbers. They can climb mountains and rocks without falling.
All right, now, if you have cows, you will often see them grazing.
Okay, to graze is a verb. It is not something people do, but something animals do. It describes how animals, like cows, eat their food.
To graze means to eat grass.
So, if cows or horses are grazing, it means they are outside eating grass.
That's right. They walk for a while, then stop and eat some grass. Then they walk again and stop again. It is a very slow and calm process.
Cows usually graze in the countryside, and after they finish grazing and become big and healthy, you need to milk them in the morning.
Okay, milk is a noun, something we drink, but it is also a verb.
To milk means to take milk from an animal. So, if you milk a cow, you are taking the milk, the liquid, from the cow.
That's right. Underneath the cow, there is a place where the milk
there is
comes
something
from.
called an udder. Underneath a cow, there are udders. You have to gently squeeze them with your hands to make the milk come out.
Okay. Okay.
That's an interesting word too, udder. It's like a big bag that holds milk.
Exactly. That is how you milk a cow.
All right, so cows are usually outside in the fields, grazing. Horses and donkeys, however, are usually kept in the stable.
A stable is a place that you often find on a farm.
It is where animals like horses, cows, and donkeys live.
A stable is a structure, a building made specially for animals.
Inside the stable, the animals are often kept in different small rooms or sections. These are called compartments.
So, as you said, we usually find horses, cows, and donkeys inside a stable.
That's right. A stable is used to protect animals from bad weather, like rain, wind, or cold.
Very good. So we just learned 4 keywords. Now, why don't we listen to the dialogue again? We'll be back in a moment. Dialogue. Isn't this great? I've always wanted to own a farm, live in the countryside, and grow my own food. This place is very beautiful, but I have to be honest, I don't know anything about farming.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
What was that noise?
Relax. It was just a goat.
And what about that sound?
It's just the cows grazing over there. We can milk them later.
What was that, honey?
Seriously, it's only a sheep. Relax. Relax. That noise was just the horses and donkeys in the stable.
You know what? I really don't think I can handle life out here in the countryside. It's not for me. I'm going back to the city. All right, we're back. Now let's take a look at the Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
You know, Jack, I have to confess something. I really love Fluency Builder.
All right, and that brings us to our first phrase for today. I have to confess.
Okay, to confess means to tell someone something that is usually a secret.
For example, people can confess to a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can confess to a priest, or we can confess a secret to a friend.
Okay.
But the phrase, I have to confess, is very common in everyday English. We often use it at the beginning of a sentence.
When you say, I have to confess, you are really saying, I have to be honest with you, or I need to tell you the truth.
Exactly. For example, I have to confess, I'm not a big fan of that sweater.
Okay.
This means, I have to be honest, I don't really like your sweater.
This phrase helps us sound more polite, especially when we are saying something negative.
In this conversation, the woman was confessing something.
And what she confessed leads us to our second key phrase, I don't know the first thing about farming.
Okay, this phrase means the same as saying, I don't know anything about farming.
You could also say, I don't know a thing about farming.
But when you say, I don't know the first thing about farming, you are being very strong.
It means you don't even understand the basics. You don't even know what a farm really is or how it works.
So, this phrase is a clear way to say, I know absolutely nothing about this topic.
And if we change the noun, we can use this phrase in many different ways.
For example, you can say, I don't know the first thing about cars.
This means you have no idea about car models or what kind of engines they have.
You might say, all I know is how to turn a car on.
Right, exactly.
Or you could say, I don't know the first thing about wine.
You may want to learn about wine, but right now you know nothing about it.
Okay, so this is a phrase you can use with many different nouns.
You can say, I don't know the first thing about architecture.
You can also say, I don't know the first thing about English.
Of course, you do know English, and that's why you're here learning with us.
But this phrase is very useful when you want to say that you don't understand something at all.
It's a strong and clear way to describe knowing absolutely nothing about a topic.
Okay. Now, because she didn't know the first thing about farming, she decided to leave.
She said, you know what? I don't think I can hack it out here in the countryside.
So now let's look at the phrase to hack it.
When we say, I can hack it or I can't hack it, we mean to be able to handle something.
If you say, I don't think I can hack it, you were saying, this is too hard for me. I don't think I can do this. For example, if someone quits a job after only 1 week, you might say he couldn't hack it.
He couldn't handle the pressure, so he left.
Exactly. So, to hack it means to handle something,
Right?
to deal with
I
it,
can't
or to
handle the
withstand
cold.
it.
It's just
For
too
example,
cold
you could
here.
say, I
I'm
don't think
gonna
I can
move
hack
somewhere
the cold
warm.
weather.
All right, I'm sure you can handle our dialogue one last time, so let's listen to it again, and then we'll be back.
Isn't this wonderful? I've always dreamed of owning a farm, living in the countryside, and growing my own food. It really is beautiful, but I have to confess something. I don't know the first thing about farming. That's okay, don't worry about it. What was that noise? Relax, it was just a goat. And what about that sound? It's just the cows grazing over there. We can milk them later. What was that, honey? Seriously, it's only a sheep. Relax. Relax. That noise was just the horses and donkeys in the stable. You know what? I don't think I can handle life out here in the countryside. I'm going back to the city.
All right, we're back now. So, as you said, you really like the countryside and farming, right?
That's right, I do like it. I just wish I knew more about farming. I don't know the first thing about milking a cow. But I come from a place in Illinois, near Chicago, where there are many farms. I really appreciate the quiet. Yes, it's very nice. I like having animals around and being able to go for long walks without cars, horns, or bicycles. It can actually feel very refreshing to spend time in the countryside sometimes. There might not even be internet or cell phone coverage. So you're basically disconnected from everything. You can't really do much, but in a way, that can feel very peaceful.
There's really nothing else to do except relax, read a book, and talk to people.
Exactly. One interesting thing is that many people take the countryside for granted. I've met a lot of people who live in the city and grew up there. Some of them have never seen a live chicken before. When they finally see one, they get very excited. They take pictures with the chicken or with a cow or another farm animal. It's really amazing and kind of funny to see. That is funny. But I think living in the countryside teaches very valuable skills. For example, you learn how to cook for yourself. There's no one else to cook for you. You may also learn how to get food from animals. And sometimes you may not even have a microwave, so you have to learn how to cook without a microwave or modern machines. That's right. I think the biggest problem for city people when they come to the countryside is that it's dirtier. There is a lot of mud. There are also bugs and insects. I can imagine some of our coworkers having a very difficult time living in the countryside. Yes, definitely. So why don't you visit our website, englishpod.com, and tell us what you think? Maybe you are very familiar with the countryside, or maybe you have a family member who is a farmer. It would be great to hear your stories. In today's story, we will discover 5 powerful lessons about managing money. These are lessons you may not learn in school, but they are very important for financial success. As we follow Sam's journey, we will also learn some new words. We will see how to use these new words in sentences. This will help you practice English in a fun and easy way. So stay with us until the end. Once upon a time, in a busy little town, there lived a 27-year-old man named Sam. One afternoon, Sam was sitting by the side of the road, thinking deeply about his life. He had been working very hard for 5 years, but nothing seemed to change. His life was still difficult, and he was still struggling with money. Sam often asked himself, is there a way to escape poverty? Is it possible to become truly wealthy? As he slowly walked down the street, he passed by a large and beautiful mansion. It had tall iron gates and a big garden inside. For some reason, Sam felt a strong urge to walk inside. Without asking for permission, he stepped through the gate. Sam didn't know it yet, but this bold decision was about to change his life forever. From a distance, Sam noticed an elderly man sitting on a bench in the garden. The man was calmly drinking a cup of coffee. This man was Mr. Hayes, the owner of the mansion. Even though he was very wealthy, he was also humble, kind, and generous. Sam walked closer and spoke politely. "I'm sorry for entering without permission, Mr. Hayes." Mr. Hayes was surprised to see Sam, but he did not get angry. Instead, he welcomed him warmly and became curious about why Sam had come. Sam sat down beside him and said, "Sir, I have worked for 5 years and earn a decent salary, but my life hasn't improved. I don't waste money or buy expensive things, but I still can't move forward. I can't get ahead in life. Do you have any advice? How can someone like me become wealthy?" Mr. Hayes smiled gently and replied, "Sam, anyone can become wealthy, even you." He continued, "I will share 5 important rules about money. These are things you don't learn in school. If you follow these lessons carefully, I promise you, you will be on the path to financial success." Sam listened carefully, feeling excited and hopeful. Mr. Hayes then began, "The first rule is simple. Always spend less than you earn."
This first rule is the foundation, Mr. Hayes said. If you don't master this rule, you cannot move on to the next ones. For example, if you earn $5,000 a month, you should save at least $2,000. If you earn $3,000, try to save at least $1,000. You must avoid spending more money than you earn. This includes taking unnecessary loans or gambling. Even if someone earns a 6-figure salary, without following this rule, they can still remain in debt. Sam nodded slowly, thinking carefully about each word Mr. Hayes was saying. Mr. Hayes took a calm sip of his coffee and continued. The second rule is to build an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected problems can happen at any time. Your car might break down, the roof of your house might start to leak, you could even lose your job. If you don't have an emergency fund, you will be forced to borrow money or sell your belongings at a loss. This limits your choices and creates a lot of stress. Think of an emergency fund as a safety net. It protects your finances when something unexpected happens. Sam nodded again, clearly understanding the importance of this advice. Now let's move on to the third lesson, Mr. Hayes said. The third lesson is about investing. Many people feel nervous about investing in businesses or the stock market because they don't have much knowledge. So the best investment you can make right now is investing in yourself. Sam looked curious and asked, "How can I do that, sir?" Mr. Hayes explained, "Look at your skills. Maybe you were good at carpentry, plumbing, customer service, or another job. Invest your time, energy, and money into improving those skills. Learn where your boss gets materials. Find better ways to promote or market your services. Use some of your savings to grow your knowledge. Take courses, buy better tools, or read books related to your work." Sam realized how valuable this advice was. He looked at Mr. Hayes with new determination, wishing he had learned these lessons much earlier in life. Mr. Hayes then continued.
"Now we come to the fourth lesson," Mr. Hayes said. "Once you have improved your skills, it is time to start earning more money. When your abilities are strong, maybe you'll even start your own business. When you run a business, your income will grow. You will no longer earn only by the hour. Instead, you earn based on what you produce or create. The harder you work, the more money you can make." Outside, the sky was growing darker, but Sam didn't feel like leaving. He was excited to hear the last and most important lesson. Mr. Hayes smiled and said, "And finally, the fifth lesson is about creating passive income. When you follow the first 4 lessons, you should have some extra money saved. Now it is time to make your money work for you. You can invest in property like houses or apartments. You can start a rental business. You can buy a franchise or explore other ways to earn passive income. Think carefully, plan wisely, and choose the option that fits you best. Mr. Hayes looked at Sam and asked gently, "So, Sam, are you ready to apply all 5 lessons?" Sam's eyes were bright with excitement. He replied, "I used to just go to work, save a little money, and hope that wealth would come to me. But now I understand that there is a real strategy to becoming rich. I am very thankful to you, sir, for your guidance. This advice is truly invaluable." Today, we also learned new words and sentences while listening to this story about wealth and financial wisdom. Remember, learning English can be fun if you practice regularly. Keep listening, reading, and speaking to grow your skills. Make sure to like this lesson, leave a comment, and share it with friends. Tell us how this story helped you improve your English. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next story where we will continue learning English together. Audio review tip. Listen to the word, learn its meaning, then try saying it yourself.
English vocabulary
example,
with simple
something that is
explanations
usual
and
or
examples.
expected.
1. Norm. Something that is usual or expected. Example 1. What's the norm in this company for following rules? Example 2. This is the norm, so you should get used to it. Example 3. Fast food delivery and street vendors are the norms around here. 2. Currency. The money that a country uses. Example 1. Before I went to France, I had to change some Canadian currency into euros. Example 2. What's the currency in this country? Example 3. My country's currency is worth very little compared to USD. 3. Margin deposit. The sum of money required to start a trade or investment. Example 1. He decided to start trading with a margin deposit of GBP 100. Example 2. I can trade with a USD 1 million investment even though I only put in a margin deposit of USD 10,000. Example 3. Be careful when trading with a margin deposit because the risk of losing more than your money is high. 4. Split second. Something that happens very quickly, in just a moment. Example 1. The gang members were closing in, so I made a split-second decision to run instead of fight. Example 2. My heart pounded as I made a split-second decision and grabbed her hand. Example 3. My split-second decision to try a trick on my bicycle didn't end well. 5. Bid. An offer to pay a particular amount of money. Example 1. The current bid for Euro USD is 1.399879. Example 2. I bought euros at an ask of 1.4235 and sold British pounds at a bid of $1.5001. Example 3. The bid for Japanese yen and the ask for Hong Kong dollars are very good right now if you trade in US currency. Quick practice tip. Read the word and its meaning. Listen to or say the example sentences out loud. Try to make your own sentence using the word.